And so, it continues. Hello there, friend. Welcome back to Max's 2016 Finish It Challenge. If you don't know what the challenge is, at the start of this year, I told myself, Max, you don't finish anywhere near enough things. Look at this collection of things you just picked up and never finished. So I decided to start the year and just start finishing, going through all of those things that I never got around wrapping up. And today, I've got a brand new episode for you, but before I talk about that, let me tell you about last week. Last week, I gave my final closing thoughts on the one and only The Wolf Among Us by Telltale Games. Ups and downs, and a rather interesting story. If you would like to learn more about it, link in the description below and an annotation on the screen right now. But for the time being, let's dive right in. What did I review this week? Now, if you've been following me for a while, you may actually know that I did not read the Harry Potter books until last year. And this week, I sat down with my lovely friend, Lady Kirin, and we marathoned all of the Harry Potter movies, the Harry Potter movie collection. Are these movies worth watching after all this time? We'll see. So, what is the Harry Potter movie collection? Well, the Harry Potter movie collection encompasses the 8 movies that were made based on the Harry Potter book series. If you don't know what the Harry Potter book series is, it follows the story of a young man who discovers he's actually a wizard, and we see the intertwining of the real world and the magical world, continuing on an epic storyline of death and death and death and heartbreak and death. That's a bit of an exaggeration. A little bit of an exaggeration. This is going to be a little bit of a silly video, mostly because I'm not going to review every movie. I'm going to give you my overall thoughts on the entire set. The box set of the Harry Potter movie collection. I'm going to talk about what I love the most and what I did not like so much about these adaptations. So, let us take it from the top. What were the good things, the stuff that I enjoyed the most about this adaptation? So there's one thing, and ironically, like looking in retrospect, because I didn't watch all of these movies growing up. I think I may have caught like the first and second movie when they came out, when I was living in Mexico, in Spanish, so it may not be the best like point of reference, but looking at them now, after reading the books, getting attached to those characters, having my heart broken time and time again, and watching the movies, I have to say this right now, that the best thing about these movies, the strongest point, the apex of amazingness, if you may, is that the correct word is that the correct use of the word apex? Let's hope it is. The casting. My God, the strength of the casting in these movies is so strong. I don't know what sort of wizards and witches you have to be to become a casting agent, but like the fact that they tossed bones or sacrificed a goat or something and they managed to realize, you know what? This young girl, Emma Watson, she's going to grow up to be perfect for Hermione. And I'm like, I don't know how you did it. I don't know what sort of dark god you must worship to be able to see into the future like this. But you nailed it. Like basically, 99.9% of the actors are casted perfectly. McGonagall, Snape, the main children, the only, I guess dark spots in this entire thing were the characters that were starkly different from the ones I imagined in my head, which is of course a little bit unfair to say, but even then Mad-Eye Moody was not like I picture him, but he was still pretty close. In most situations where a piece of media is turned into another one, whether it is a TV show or a movie in this particular scenario, you have to do a little bit of mental gymnastics, because you know that the person you're going to see is not going to align with the ones that you saw up here. Up here, when you had endless budget. So having a series of movies that is pretty consistent in having amazing casting, it kind of goes a long way. Again, they're not all perfect, but considering the perfect bullseye shots that they got, I can't really complain. Talking about the endless power of imagination, the other thing that I liked about these movies, and I come from a background of being 110 million% disappointed with movie adaptations, because video game movies, seeing a collection of 8 movies that were all pretty much not perfect. They were not perfect, there were inconsistencies, sure, I'm not going to argue that. But the fact that never, at any point, did the movies go off the rails and did something completely ridiculous just to justify some sort of jump in logic, I think that's pretty commendable. Like I know it doesn't sound like a really big compliment when you say, wow, you didn't suck. You could have sucked, but you didn't. And even the worst movie in the set, which we'll get to in a little while, even the worst movie is still watchable. It's just annoying and infuriating, but other than that, it's fine. Again, these movies, considering the source material, considering how hard it is to translate the endless power of imagination to the silver screen, I think they did a pretty darn good job. Not one-to-one, but still pretty commendable. So, and with that said, it's time for me to talk about the things I did not like. Or rather, the thing I did not like. And if you don't want to hear me ramble, you don't want to hear me rant, please feel free to skip forward like 2 minutes or something, because what's the thing I dislike the most about this collection? The third movie, The Prisoner of Azkaban. I did not enjoy that movie. Now, I know that I care too much about this, and I do, and I have a little bit of a background in film. That's why seeing The Prisoner of Azkaban just kind of bothered me, considering the other movies that came before and after, because all the other movies have this, like, almost strict, kind of quaint tone to them, if you want. They're a little bit silly, they're a little bit goofy, they're extremely British, and that's okay. That's all fine. It's part of the tone of those books and those movies. It's okay. The Prisoner of Azkaban feels so much like a Hollywood movie that it's almost paint by numbers. Hey, we need establishing shot that time is passing. Let's cut to the Whomping Willow. Is time changing again? Let's cut to the Whomping Willow again. How many times are we gonna cut to the Whomping Willow? The answer is more than 4 times. Also, it's taking all of the power inside of me to contain my anger right now, but the third book is one of those books that I enjoyed, but it had issues, like a lot of issues, and this movie brings out all of those issues because, and spoilers to a book that is like, I guess, at least 10 years old, The Prisoner of Azkaban has a plot element that revolves around time travel. And this movie brings it out and makes it just so... like, it's time travel that doesn't even make sense, it doesn't work, it's never referenced ever again because it's literally a plot device. And the movie just brings it to the foreground and I'm like, this is just... no, please, just stop, no, oh god. Kitty was watching me break down in the middle of watching that, and I'm like, Kitty, if I didn't know the movies got better, I would just call it right here. I would just call it right here. And you may be telling me, Max, you're exaggerating. Sirius Black is awesome. He is! And freaking Gary Oldman as Sirius Black is awesome. It's effective. I love it. That movie's not good. That movie to me is like the lowest point. Especially because I'm a time travel nerd. And seeing just this really weak time travel plot be put in the foreground is just like... No, just no, just no, please no, just no, Harry, no. How can you save yourself if you haven't saved yourself in the past? No. Am I crying? I'm crying a little. So with that, great and completely objective, negative point, let's move on to the one and only, what I like to refer to as the award. Every episode I like to give the thing I'm reviewing an award to show, almost summarize how I feel about the story. And there are not 2 ways about this. I have to give the Harry Potter movie collection the one and only, the most satisfying movie marathon award. Now, I'm not gonna argue with you. This is a really long movie marathon. It is. It totally is. It's 8 movies. But it's really satisfying because it has that, I guess, from the other side, this upward curve of excitement and eventual payoff. Considering other marathons, like, you know, I'm a time travel nerd. I love the Back to the Future trilogy. I must admit that the excitement curve is the third movie is not that exciting. The same goes with The Lord of the Rings. I love The Fellowship, and I love The Two Towers. Return of the King, that's the triple X parody. But The Return of the King is just not very exciting for me, and I lose a lot of steam getting into that movie. And with this marathon, once you get over the bump that is movie number 3, The Prisoner of Azkaban, things just get better. No, like seriously, like even The Half-Blood Prince, which I remembered as being a terrible movie because I watched it in the theaters without any point of reference, it was still fine. And yeah, The Half-Blood Prince is kind of slow, but things happen and there are developments, we learn about characters. Slughorn is slimy as heck, but that comes with the name, and Lavender Brown is the one piece of casting that is just entirely wrong in these movies, but considering how bad The Prisoner of Azkaban is, and how good the movies keep getting up until the end, honestly, this is a really satisfying movie marathon. Like, it keeps getting more and more interesting, there are more things at stake. I mean, yeah, the payoff at the end is not anywhere near as satisfying as the books, but you also haven't spent, like, as much time as with the books. I think considering what you had to work with, the piece of cloth that you cut for yourself, this is ultimately a pretty neat package. That being said though, if I hadn't been able to watch all of those movies back to back, I probably wouldn't have these feelings for them, but hey, guess what? They're all out now. You don't have to wait anymore. If you'd like to check out this movie collection and see for yourself if maybe I'm just entirely wrong about The Prisoner of Azkaban, maybe it's your favorite movie, in which case it's okay. We can have different opinions. Like you, who is objectively wrong. I'm kidding, I'm being silly. I'm a giant nerd for time travel, so whenever it's just not done right, or just done in a way that it's clearly just a plot device, it just turns me off completely. But anyhow, if you would like to go check out this movie collection, there should be a link to it in the description down below. And before you go anywhere, if you would like to know about what I'm going to be reviewing next week, check out the mystery link in the description below as well. Shh, it's a secret to everybody. And with that, I want to thank you for watching, and I want to know what you think. What do you think about these movies? Have you seen the collection? Have you marathoned them? Do you have recommendations for other movie series that I could possibly check out in the future? Let me know in the comments down below. But with that being said, thank you for watching, thank you for spending a little bit of your day with me, and I'll see you on the next one.